What is up, guys? Jason here, and I'm coming at you with a new video series. I thought I would, rather than just go over some more decks that we have. Well, actually, part of the reason I'm doing this is because we're low-key we're running out of decks to do. But I thought it would be interesting to do something a little bit different. So back when I was playing Duel Masters actively in high school, naturally what people do when they play a card game is they net deck, and I would look for inspiration or some winning ideas to help make my deck better. Sadly, a lot of the resources that I used to use back then have been destroyed. I do remember accessing the Duel Masters Wizards of the Coast official website fairly often, and that would contain a lot of awesome articles and deck lists for tournament winners or tournament placements, but that website was closed down. Fortunately, through scrounging around Pojo and Google, I guess, I was able to find some deck lists, and through my dealings with vendors, I've also been able to come across more deck lists. So yeah, that's pretty much the backstory. I just think it will be cool to see how the game has evolved, and kind of take a look at what strategies have managed to stay relevant, some things that we've taken for granted, and just have a literally laugh about how bad people used to be. Well, not really, but yeah. Okay, anyway, what we're going to be taking a look at today is Sergio's winning deck at the Wizards World East tournament back in 2005. Now, the sets that were legal at this time were base set through to Survivors of the Megapocalypse, so that's DMs 1 to 5. Now, in taking a look at this deck, it's basically a 4-Civ control deck that employs Doboulgyser Giant Rock Beast. In case you're not too familiar with what this guy does, basically when you evolve him onto a Rock Beast, and he hits the field of course, you smash a creature with power 3k or less, and he's a double breaker. Same stats as Fighter Dualfang and Crystal Lancer. I'll be analyzing this card a little bit more later, so I'm just going to be moving top down for the creatures. So naturally, we're going to start off the list with 4 Aquahulkas. Aquahulka's pretty good, staple in all water decks. We also have 3 Bronze Arm Tribes. He is a Beast Folk. That's not particularly relevant, I don't know why I said that. But basically we play him to get more mana to set up for our 5 mana plays on turn 4. Speaking of which, we've got 4 Corile, and we've also got 4 Emerald to support the 3 Illusionary Merfolk that I am a big fan of. So that's pretty much the Merfolk engine he's running there. 4/4/3. Don't necessarily agree, don't necessarily disagree. And he's also got some blockers. He's got 3 Hunterfish, so he's a 2 mana 3k vanilla blocker that is quite important for stopping yourself from getting rushed. 3k is a very relevant number because it allows you to trump all of the come into play effect staple creatures. So that's your Aquahulkas, your Bronze Arm, your Loco, things of that nature. The 2 Phantom Fish are a bit curious because I don't know what Phantom Fish is stopping that Hunterfish isn't. Pyrofighter Magnus trades with Hunterfish, but he gets stopped by Phantom Fish. The thing is, Pyrofighter Magnus came out in Stombatrons, so he hadn't been released at the time. My guess is that Phantom Fish allows this guy to keep a blocker on the board after being hit by a Searing Wave from his opponent, because Searing Wave hits 3k or less. That is my guess. Now, moving on, we have 3 Meteosaur, so 5 mana 2k, when you summon him it's Crimson Hammer, who evolves into Doboulgyser. I guess you can see the relationship. 3/2 seems like a bit of a thin lineup. I mean, I know he's playing 3 Rumbling Terrahorn, which is like a D-gate with legs, and he's also playing 2 Dark Reversal, which allows you to retrieve dead creatures. But it just seems a bit thin to me, so maybe he's not trying to summon Doboulgyser every game. It's just like, oh hey, I have it, boom, I'll summon it, happy days. But it doesn't sound the most consistent. Very curiously, I don't know why he didn't include Magmarex. So Magmarex is also a Rock Beast who actually came out in the same set as Doboulgyser. Shield trigger when he hits the field, kill all creatures with power 1k. The best reasoning that I can provide to Magmarex's lack of conclusion is he places a lot of emphasis on the Merfolk engine, and he doesn't want to blow up his emeralds by mistake. But yeah, so moving on, we also have 2 Twin Twin Cannon Sky Terror, who I think is his only card from the latest set at the time. 7 mana, 7k, speed attacker, double breaker. Everyone's a fan. Also relevant to note, I guess, Doboulgyser hadn't come out at this time. He also came out in the following set. Now for the spells, he's got 3 Crimson Hammer. Phantom Dragon's Flame came out in the next set, even though I don't actually disagree with 3 Crimson Hammers, even with Phantom Dragon's Flame existing. And that's just because it helps smooth out the mana curve. I mean, there is quite a bit that you want to do on turn 3, most notably these guys, maybe even this guy. But yeah. 2 Dark Reversal, very, very clutch card, I guess. Helps recycle creatures. It's not just for the rock beasts. There are a lot of utility cards in here and can help you get out of a pickle. For example, Coral for some spot removal if you don't have access to your spells. If you need more cards, grab an Aqua Hulkus, grab an Illusionary Merfolk. You know, if you want a blocker, just grab a fish. 2 Lost Soul. So if we scroll down, we see that when we look at distribution by cost, most of the cards in this deck cost 5 mana. Now, that to me suggests that this deck plans to go into the late game, and so, you know, Lost Soul is pretty important for that. I feel like it is a bit of a waste if you play Darkness, you play a late game deck, but you don't play Lost Soul. It can be very game swinging, especially in control versus control. As I like to say, first Lost Soul wins. We've got 3 Mana Nexus. That's just to save your life, really, when you reach the end of the game. No Doboulgyser, so that makes it even better. And here are your targets: 4 Natural Snares and 4 Terror Pits. The power spell spot removals for Nature and Darkness, respectively. Last card we'll look at: 4 Searing Wave. Choose all of your opponents. Destroy all of your opponent's creatures that have power 3k or less, and then you sack a shield. Searing Wave, pretty good. Don't quite. I mean, this is the thing, right? If I were to make changes, I don't see why you would bother with the Meteosaur Doboulgyser engine when you're already playing 4 Searing Wave and 3 Crimson Hammer. To me, that seems a bit unnecessary. Some more changes that I would do. Perhaps I would add in a 4th copy of Bronze Arm Tribe, because you have a lot of important 5-cost cards. I might remove a Coral. I think 4 is a bit excessive given how much spot removal you have down here, and given how Crimson Hammer and Doboulgyser, okay, we'll ignore Doboulgyser, but given how Crimson Hammer and Searing Wave can also hit stuff, so maybe cut down on the Coral. I would replace Hunterfish and Phantomfish entirely for Bloody Skeeto. That would help pad out the Darkness section, which, as you can see here, is looking a bit thin. 8 out of 55 cards is really not a lot, in my opinion. I mean, I get that he's hoping to hit Terror Pit from his shields, and by the time he's looking to play Lost Soul, he probably has some Darkness mana already, because that's late game. But, you know, I just don't like the thought of not being able to play a card when I need it. And, you know, this just seems like a lot of slack to me. What else can we look at? I would just get rid of Doboulgyser entirely for Twin Cannon Sky Terror. So 4 Twin Cannons. You know, he functions independently on his own, and Doboulgyser's effect really isn't that great. I feel like with cards like Doboulgyser, you really need to... Okay, with cards like this that are hard to make a deck around. Okay, cards like... Sorry, I'll take it from the top. Cards like this are hard to make a deck around because he's hard to summon. So that means you really need to have his effect be a major game changer. I would contrast this to, compare this to Alcadius, for example. Alcadius similarly has high cost evolution bait, but when you summon Alcadius, he is super duper strong. Like, he pretty much wins you the game because there's not a whole lot your opponent can do about it. If they're holding a Coral or Aqua Surfer, then great, that buys them a turn to actually do something. But if they don't have that at their disposal, you pretty much roll through their whole deck because they can't use shield triggers, and then you just keep swinging for the win. I would also compare Doboulgyser to Crystal Lancer and Fighter Dual Fang, who have the same stats as he does. Those two are easier to splash into decks or build decks around because their evolution bait is either lower cost or high in utility, or both. So with Liquid people, you have Aqua Hulkus, who's pretty much going into every water deck. Aqua Guard is a really easy splash because he costs 1 mana and he's a blocker. For Nature, the Beast Folk, you have Bronze Arm Tribe, who pretty much goes into every nature deck. And every other Beast Folk costs like 2 mana, right? 2 or 3 mana, so those are much easier. Doboulgyser doesn't have the necessary qualities to make a deck to warrant his inclusion in many decks, which I find is quite sad, because I think he's a super cool card, and he's pretty hype when you summon him because he looks funny. But yeah, that's the sad reality. So I would just scrap him entirely. For the spell section, there isn't really a whole lot that I would change here. Maybe not really, to be honest. I might just make some random cuts here and there, like 1 Searing Wave, 1 Natural Snare or something, to help bring the total count down to 50 cards. But yeah, nothing wholly offensive in the spell section to me. So hopefully I wasn't too scatterbrained over this deck profile. I'm just going to go over some stats that you guys might be interested in. Not particularly relevant, but might be interested in. Yeah, so this is the deck. Sadly, it's not something that I think would keep up. I made something very similar to it, and it just got completely destroyed. I used it as a basis to make another Doboulgyser deck. That didn't work out too well either, but hey, you know, it was fun, and congratulations to Sergio, who won a tournament, which is a lot more than I can say for myself. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please tell me if you did, please tell me if you didn't, so I don't waste my time and yours making videos like this. But most importantly, I really hope you enjoyed and learned something. Thanks for watching. See you next time.